So now we gotta groom. Now we have your first tool to use is a curry comb. And it's to get all the dirt that's like deep underneath the hair. So you go with circular motions around the body. And you mainly just want to focus on where your saddle is going to sit, which is here and in here. So you gotta make sure to get this tummy too. This is my horse. His name is Ice. Well, that's what we call him. His full name is Red Ice Manny. He is a thoroughbred and he is off the track. He raced when he was 4. He only raced in 3 races, but he didn't do very good at all. But he had really, really good bloodlines. He was out of his grandfather was Sham, which is the horse, which is out of the movie we watched, Secretariat. And so even though he had like a really, really good bloodline, doesn't always make that really, really great horse. Next, before you want to go grab yours, is a stiff brush. The bristles are like really, really stiff, and it's for getting like the deep dirt that we just brought up to the surface off, and that you just go with the hair. It's really, really soft. It's meant just to make them look pretty, get the dirt off the top, make them look all nice and shiny. And see him throw his head. That's just a racehorse thing. He doesn't have a whole lot of experience in cross ties. So when he gets bored or he gets upset about something, you see him throw his head a lot. So now we're gonna pick the hoofs, and at first you kind of have to run your hand down their leg, and he'll give his foot, and you have to hold the foot with your hand, and you take your hoof pick, and you pick along the frog and get all this nasty dirt out. You don't want to be like too hard on the frog because that's pretty soft, but everything else is not too bad. You just gotta make sure there's like no rocks or anything in the foot, because that's like you stepping on rocks in your shoes, and it's kind of annoying. But just get it out as clean as you can, and then just give it back. So now we're gonna do the mane and tail. This is the main brush. Kind of looks like our comb. And I always put conditioner in it, just because I don't want to pull out the hair. So it kind of acts as a detangler. Reagan's working on his tail, which I'll show you in a second. But I just rub the conditioner through. It's like a leave-in conditioner. And then I brush through it. Now you can pull as hard as you want with most horses, because the only thing that annoys them is the pulling, but this doesn't hurt. They don't have nerve endings on the end of their hair, so the actual brushing and ripping of the hair like that doesn't hurt. It's just the tugging that gets annoying. So unlike our hair, which when you pull it like that, it hurts. It doesn't hurt them. It's just the tugging that gets annoying. Again, look at his tail that Reagan is brushing. It's pretty tangled up right now.
You think?
So, but you always start, well, I've always started with the bottom of the tail, kind of like the girls. When you brush your hair, you don't start at the top because you're going to rip out all those knots. So you start at the bottom, work your way up, and slowly get the knots out. Which his tail seems to be pretty bad.
Going in for some reason, and then you want this going down and tight. You always want to make it really tight to make sure it's not folded. Go down. Keeps. Do it tight first. Seriously. Mess that up.
That's okay. You got it now.
Hold it. Okay, good. I'm gonna go down a little more. right there. Start going up. Ice! Kill him. Do I have permission to hit him?
Try not to on video. Ice, stop.
Ice.
This is just him getting impatient. We're taking too long.
I'm not trying to. I keep. Seriously?
And that's basically just to support the tendons when they're working. Just kind of like how people wear like ankle braces and stuff to help their joints and everything.
Protect a broken bone, but it will help.
It's just to give the tendons support they need. Okay, so now we're gonna saddle. And if you're wondering why Ice is not in the crossroads, it's because he kind of got tired of it. So we just put him on a lead rope. But anyway, when you're saddling, I use, this is an English saddle pad. It has this curve in the back to conjoin with his wither, the curve in his back. So you flip it on.
Nice.
And you slide it up, so it's sitting on the wither. And you can pretty much just kind of see how it's pretty formed to his back. When I look at, there's this little piece here that you can slip, your girth goes through, and that's kind of line that up with where your girth would actually go, which is the part that tightens the saddle to the horse. I use this, it's a half pad, only just to give him just a little bit extra support, so the saddle's not sitting on him really hard. It just gives him some extra padding on his back. And I gotta line it all up. Make sure it's all sitting right. And just like Miss Raker said, everything is done from the left side. So you throw your saddle over from the left side. This is an English saddle. It's a lot different than a Western, which I might have a Western to show later. You just sling it on. You don't want to set it down really hard because they probably won't appreciate it. You wouldn't appreciate a big...
You fold it on the side.
You wouldn't appreciate if something came down on your back really, really hard. So you try to stay nice and soft on their back. So now we're on the other side because I have to attach the girth to the saddle. So I just slide up my saddle pad just to make sure everything's lined up right. You have to keep the D-ring facing the front, so it needs to go on in like this. Now when they're in the cross ties, you don't want it to be super tight because most of the time they'll blow out and they'll puff up their stomach because they don't want to get the saddle tightened. So you leave it kind of loose, and then as you take them into the arena and walk them around a little bit, then you tighten it then. But so I just put on the first hole. On these are called the billet straps. I just put them on the first hole. Then I leave it hang. Now we're back on the other side, and I'm going to ask him to move his foot forward because his foot's kind of in my way. Thank you. And I readjust the saddle, make sure everything's in place. I bend over, I grab from underneath. I put it on the billet straps that are on this side. Put it on the first and second hole. I'll put it on the second. And then, yeah, he kind of throws a fit about it. But then eventually I'll end up going to the other side, tightening that, and just flipping back and forth between the two to tighten them until I get in there. And then when I get in there, I'm going to tighten it as much as I can so that way my saddle will stay in place on its back. But right now, I can fit my whole entire hand underneath there, and that's okay. So you want to leave it loose. Okay, so in any barn, and most of the time, if you're under the age of 18, they're going to require you to wear a helmet. So I have a cheap helmet. It's just a Troxel. It's a Troxel here. This is just like the cheap helmet you can go buy pretty much at any tack store. It's a good helmet just for like riding on the barn's sake. But Reagan's helmet is an IRH, and you can see the difference between the two. This is a lot nicer helmet. It's actually like meant for like showing and stuff, but she wears around the barn too. And mine on the inside has a little adjustable piece here, but Reagan's doesn't. So you actually have to have your head sized for these helmets. But for the most part, these just go in small, medium, and large, and then you can adjust it accordingly. So take the reins first, and you put them over the horse's head. Because when I go to take his halter off, if he would decide he gets scared of something, or he decides he just doesn't want to do this and he decides to walk away, I can just grab hold of the reins, and I can still like pull and get control of him. So after you get the reins over the head, just kind of make sure that everything's all set up. Are you taking it now? And then you take the halter off and just slide it over. I just throw it over my shoulder because you don't want to throw it out in front of them, because in case something would happen and they happen to spook away, they can trip on it and get their feet caught in it, and you do not want that. So just throw it over your shoulder or throw it off to the side where it's not going to be in the way. For the most part, they'll take the bit. He's actually pretty good about it, like there. You gotta do one ear at a time. Now their ears are flexible, so you can bend them. It's just cartilage like ours. But if you wouldn't take the bit, you just take your fingers and you slide it in the corner of his mouth here. As you see him open his mouth, it's sensitive, and it'll force him to open it, and then you can slide the bit in. Now one thing.
Singing